What's up, Mutantville? Welcome back, Horrorfind 2007. Who else is here but Strivo? That's right. I'm here with the one and only Dr. AC of Horror 101 book, coming out very soon to Amazon, every place you can get it. But anyway, since we're here at the Horrorfind, we're going to talk horror for just a minute with one of our resident experts. So let's start with, what's your favorite horror, or one of favorites?
Well, see, that was the thing. It was trying to find a favorite horror film is it just gets a little crazy sometimes. So that's why we created the Horror 101 project, which is 101 essential horror films from the early silent films all the way through today. And basically the idea is that we give you a little silent, we give you a little universal, we give you a little 40s Val Lewton stuff, 50s sci-fi, you know, into the 60s, the 70s, the 80s slashers, and into the 90s. We stopped at about 1999. So it's basically your horror primer. You know, once you've seen these 101 films, you basically have a pretty well-rounded base in the horror genre, and you can talk with any horror fan anywhere. And I know that's what we want. We want to talk to each other.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to have to pin you down to one.
Okay.
Pick one.
The first one that really rocked my world was probably The Exorcist, which I saw on TV in its edited version, and it still scared the heck out of me. So.
Scary movie. Yep. Absolutely. Good choice.
Thank you.
Okay, so, Dr. AC.
Yes, sir.
We've talked a little bit about our favorites, so what do you think about what's going on today? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it a little both?
You know what? Everybody who says that the horror genre has gone to hell these days, look back. You always had really good horror films, and then you had a lot of crap, you know. But the thing is, if you look at any genre, you're gonna have some really good films and a lot of crap. So, everybody bitching and moaning about the fact that we don't have any good horror films anymore, it's just not true. We always have, maybe 10 to 20 good films that just really rise to the top, and then the rest is kind of trickle down. So, I think there are some good horror films out now. And, we just had The Host last year from Korea, which is one of the best big monster movies we've had in years.
Yes, absolutely.
We've got some good people on the horizon. We got Alexander Asia, we got Rob Zombie, we got Eli Roth, and that's just the big names right now. And there are a lot of people underneath it that are still raising the bar. So I think I don't think horror is dead. I think it's on the rise, just as it always happens. It's going to be morphing. It's going to be finding its highs and lows.
Absolutely. Very good answer. I'm going to go off on a short tangent because a lot of people complained about horror last year, and I just thought, you people are crazy. We had Slither to kick the year off. I spent the whole month telling people to go watch it. Nobody cares about it. October rolls around. We had Feast come out. Nobody goes to watch it.
Feast kicks ass. Anybody who hasn't seen Feast, go see it. Fun, great, gory flick.
Or else you deserve to get eaten by monsters.
By those scary monsters, exactly.
Exactly. Freaking, they re-released for special showings at Nightmare on Elm Street last year.
Yep.
Halloween.
Yep.
If you didn't have a great horror year in 2006, you weren't trying. It's just that simple.
And that's just it. I think the people who are complaining are doing it just, for the sake of, it's easier to complain than to find the good things. And what's also, if you're not happy with what's coming out now, this is the greatest time in the world to be a horror fan, because we have so many older films and films that were lost that are rising up to DVD now. So it's like anybody who tells me they can't find anything to watch now is just, they're not looking, they're not trying. So get out there, do a little work, guys.
And we mean that. Okay, so you've already answered this just a little bit, but what inspired you?
Let me tell you about
Horror 101.
Tell you about Horror 101. Basically, the reason behind Horror 101 is I got tired of so many of today's horror fans that basically hadn't seen anything before 1970, and I wanted people to start being able to look back a little bit. Again, going along with that idea of, there's nothing good coming out. Well, you know what? Look back a little bit, and you'll find stuff that does appeal to you. So I created this list of 101 films that I thought, okay, if you see all these, you're kind of getting a good touchstone throughout the genre. And I was going to write an essay on each one of them. And then I thought, what's be even more interesting is, instead of just getting my opinion on all of these, which is only going to be mine, to reach out and kind of touch base with all these different horror fans that I met over the net and just in my various walks of life, and get each one of them to contribute an essay on each one of these films. And that ended up creating this amazing international contingent of horror fans, and it's really giving the average horror fan a voice, which I don't think happens as often as I'd like. We get our, and it's never been the critics who've made these horror films the lasting classics that they become.
Absolutely not.
It's the fans.
Yeah.
It's the passionate fans, and so it's like, well, let's let the fans have their say. So this is very much for the fans, by the fans, and it's a love letter to these movies that we've all grown up with, and the fact that we've got our contributors range in age from 17 to 78. We've got men, we've got women, we've got people who are school teachers, we've got people who are warehouse managers. I mean, it covers the entire scope of humanity. And I think that's what's kind of cool, is that it shows that horror fans come in all shapes and sizes. We're not all these, pierced goth kids that everybody immediately thinks of when you talk about horror fans, although we do have a few of those. So, if you're one of those pierced goth kids, God love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Or goth chicks.
Or goth chick. We love goth chicks.
Mutantville.com.
So anyway, yeah, that's kind of what we did with Horror 101. It's going to be coming out later in October this year, and I just invite everybody to enroll at Horror U and get your horror on.
Absolutely. I remember the selection of films was fantastic.
Thank you.
I remember one thing you did was you came up with an initial list, and then you kind of put it out to the horror community, and you
Absolutely.
said, what do you think about this list? What needs to be taken off? What needs to be added?
Absolutely.
And you let the community really decide.
After we had collected, we ended up with about 78 different contributors, but I think at that point we had about a good solid group of 50. And I put about 150 films out there, and I said, okay, here's what we're looking at. We want to get it down to, 101. So people were voting, and we're going back and forth, and there was stuff that I was really hanging on to, and, eventually kind of got shouted down, stuff that got lost. And then there were films that I hadn't thought of, like Eraserhead. I was like going, you know what, that's a really good idea. Let's get that in there. And we were going back and forth as to which Amicus film to pick, as our kind of, it's like, you got 7 of the omnibus. It's like, okay, well, which one are we going to pick? So, and that's what this is. It's been such a great kind of democratic adventure. It's just like, okay, well, let's all get together and create this community that's going to create this book, and then give it back to the horror community.
Absolutely.
So it's been awesome.
I think it's going to do that in spades.
It's been a wonderful, amazing adventure.
Well, the last thing I usually tell people or ask people is there anything you want to tell everyone about? I wonder what that would be.
Yeah. I definitely want to plug Horror 101 because I think it's going to be a fun tool. I think it's going to be something that for new horror fans, it's going to be a good place to give them a jumping off place. I think it's going to be a great kind of walk down memory lane for people who have, they've seen it all, and they're kind of going back and kind of going, oh gosh, I haven't seen that in a while. I haven't seen that one. That's a really good movie. And that's what's been fun, is showing people these lists, and they go, oh, that's really good. I haven't seen that in years. So, but more than anything, it's just to keep discovering, and to keep looking. I mean, it's great to watch, the Friday the 13th movies again and again and again. But, go check out something you've never seen before, never heard before.
Exactly.
Take a chance on independent horror cinema. I mean, we have, this, all the Texas Chainsaws, those were independent films, and they are now classics. So, go out there and support your independent cinema, because, you could be seeing, the next classic. I mean, Evil Dead, Bare Bones, Night of the Living Dead, Bare Bones, independent, and now, they are the pillars of the community now. So absolutely, just keep going to Horror U, keep studying, keep looking.
I think that's a big thing that a lot of people miss, is that they get to a point where they feel like they have all the answers.
They think
no more
seen,
questions.
Right.
There's nothing else to discover, and that's not any way you can go through life, much less approach horror or any other art form. The questions are what makes it brilliant. Discovering is what makes it so beautiful.
Absolutely, and I mean, what's interesting is, if you saw that movie 20 years ago, watch it again, because the movie hasn't changed, but you will have, and you'll be revisiting a film, and you'll be seeing it through, eyes that are 20 years older, and hearing things through ears that are 20 years older, and that's an amazing experience. You'll be seeing it, and you're looking at it as a kid from before, and now you're looking at it as an adult. So absolutely, revisit those classics that you haven't seen in a long time.
So there you have it, folks. Straight from the doctor to you. This is Stribo the Magic One. We'll see you next time at the Horrorfind. Thank you very much for your time, Doc.
Thank you, Stribo.
Good talking to you.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace.